Hello there, once again, Santon from Anton Obey. Thank you for stopping by the collection room. Today, I'm taking a look at some comics. It is Gen 13 Bootleg. Now, I don't know a ton about Gen 13 Bootleg. I love regular Gen 13. I'm familiar with that. And this was kind of a parallel series that came out, what, 96? So this would have been going on the same time as a regular series. But there's clearly, like, I don't think there's an overlap. These are either like kind of offbeat solo stories, or a lot of these tend to be like fantasy stories. They're dreams. I don't know if everything that happens in Bootleg is, what's the word? Canon? Totally like canon with everything. It's fun. It's imaginative. Some of them are dreams. Some of them are hallucinations. You're going to have some episodes or issues that are, like fairy tale setups and, evil Las Vegas. Sorry, I just yawned there. And stuff like this, that's like, this is clearly not canon, but it's very interesting that they're doing it. Yeah, and of course, he's always harassing her. She will never put enough clothing on. Yeah. I do like the animation in this, or I should say just the art. Some Gen 13 art is incredibly good, and some is just bad. When they started to get into that manga style, I was not a fan. It just didn't suit the series. And for a comic that's so visual, like it's about being visual. Whether it's the hot chicks or the crazy stories or the cultural parody that it's doing at the time, it needs good, fluid, colorful, bright, quirky art behind it. And it does not need... It does not need to be taken too seriously. If you draw this book too seriously, it's not going to look right. And if you go too dark, the tone is going to be off. It's not going to be funny. It's not going to be the whimsical teen parody that it should be. Looks like they finally got her some leaves. I don't know what's going on with this. So yeah, is this really happening? I don't know. Is it, who knows with this stuff. That is one thing I do appreciate about the tone. I knew enough about Bootleg to know that there was quite a few that were like this. Like I'd seen that cover and I'd read some of that stuff. This is not canon. This is just, what, weird parody story. So I think that is a fun thing that they do with the book. But yeah, I've made the comment with books like FemForce and stuff. You couldn't have Barry Windsor Smith draw for it. It just wouldn't look right. You couldn't convey the bouncy superhero retro comedy feel of that book with a darker artist. Todd McFarlane couldn't draw that, or shouldn't. You shouldn't put Todd McFarlane in charge of FemForce. You shouldn't put Todd McFarlane on a Gen 13. I love Todd's work, but there's certain comics and certain books that just lend itself to different artists, and this is not one that he should have ever drawn. As far as the comedy, the facial expressions, some of that, I could actually see Bradford Gorby drawing some of these. That could actually work. Would have been fun. There's actually quite a few FemForce writers and artists that I think would have been able to work on Gen 13 as well. This whole story arc was cool. Because I happen to have read this one years ago. Like, I had this issue and I enjoyed it. Definitely an odd take on a comic book. But I had seen things like this with certain Cerebus comics, where it was like broken down like this. And actually, those were way too wordy. And I mean, they were like a novel. They were just the whole page, and then there'd be like one sliver of a picture. I don't know what Dave Sim was thinking sometimes, but this, they got a lot of dialogue in there, but not so much that it's unbearable. And yeah, at the end, he's drooling. She read him a book and put it to sleep. Put him to sleep. And I remember the end. Yep, clocks in with the book. Beautifully done. Story and pencils by Dan Norton. Sandra Hope is on the inks. Joe Chiotti and Martin Jimenez on colors. Amy Greer on letters. These boots are made for talking. That's a great name for a letter page for Gen 13 Bootleg. Interestingly enough, if you didn't know, did you know there was a Gen 13 animated movie? I found this out like several years ago, but yeah, they had an animated film. Now, it does not have all of the characters for some reason, but it does exist. It's a thing, and you should go check it out. Coincidentally, most of you probably remember Wildcats had an animated series for quite some time, which was also pretty good, actually. I always liked grunge. Look at that. If that is not the face of your average 1999, early 2000s Sugar Ray fan, I don't know what it is. It's just, it is. Caitlin. Caitlin as a young child. Stormwatch 46. Used to have a whole series of Stormwatch. Man, I used to also have a huge pile of Strangers in Paradise. And the sad part is I was forced. I ended up selling them because I kind of needed the money before I ever got a chance to read them, which is a shame because I've heard all sorts of good things about Strangers in Paradise and just never got the chance to read them all. See, this kind of book looks a little more canon than the previous 2 or 3. It is what it is. It's just hard to decide with Bootleg what's involved in the overall story arc and what is not. But anyway, definitely a fun series. As if Gen 13 took itself too seriously to begin with, they had to give themselves a sister title that they could take themselves less seriously with. And with that thought, that is the first 4 issues of Gen 13 Bootleg. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Let me know what you think about this series or what you think about Gen 13 in general. And if you feel like it, give me a like. And I'll catch you guys later. Bye.